The issue is that are we moving at the same pace with which the transgressions are also committed? Some of us will say no. But the blame will not entirely be left for the judiciary. Even we lawyers have also engaged in a number of practices that encourage what we now generally see as corruption in the judiciary. But, and that takes me to the issue you raised about consequences. Let's face it, there are consequences. In short, the same constitution with lampoon makes elaborate provision to insist that if you have been found guilty of corrupt practices, you cannot be eligible to occupy certain positions, political offices. Most organizations, not even statutory bodies, have in their constitutions expressly stated that if you've been found guilty of fraud, corrupt practices, you cannot be eligible. So there are consequences. The judiciary, like I said, is also self-regulatory. Once you are able to establish, because many people want to, blackmail the judiciary, collectively. If you are able to establish with verifiable facts, you cannot presently allege corruption. For you to be able to establish that, you must swear to an affidavit, you must confirm the allegations you are making. Those are the conditions now. But if you're able to do that, the National Judicial Council is also, and we've seen a lot of them happen in recent times. You've also seen senior advocates of Nigeria in our country get struck down by those punitive actions. I am tempted to believe that it is not a one-man show. We need the courage of the people to be determined to even fight it. Corruption comes with a very sophisticated trajectory. And how do I mean by that? Once it plays itself out, those who are beneficiaries of it are already fortified financially. And the tendency is to reach out to even those who are supposed to be fighting it, to compromise them. It is for this reason that the cliché is already there that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. So I believe that what we can do collectively is for us to denounce it first of all. And as it used to be those days, if your riches or your acquisitions cannot be verified, rather than continued reward and award, from chieftaincy title to permission to sit in front rows of churches to national award, we should, even at this stage, be withdrawing some of the national awards that have been given out. If any person is seen to have engaged fully in corrupt practices and he already an honorary member of this or a recipient of this honor, that should be withdrawn. That way the standards are clearly set to say that it doesn't matter whether you once you cross the red line, yes, you'll be removed from that rank.
Mr. Shitu, 2 years ago I was in Rwanda, and the president told us clearly that one of his ministers was in jail because a court of law had found him guilty of corrupt practices. Do you think that we will get to a stage, apart from just mouthing our fight against corruption, where we are actually doing things to show that we are serious and that we didn't care whose ox was going to be gored, we were going to fight this corruption to a standstill?
Thank you for that question. I think we are capable of getting to that stage. And the indices are already on the ground. First of all, what is required is the political will. Two, I also believe that by virtue of our own circumstances now, given the fact that our regular courts are also saddled with a lot of other cases, you should begin to look in the direction of the creation of special courts to deal with these menace of corruption.
What difference would that make?
The difference it will make is that, you see, I'm an advocate of special court, not because I believe other cases, no, I'm not saying, it's not an indictment on other courts, regular courts. But I'm saying other regular courts are already saddled with other cases. And there's, you get to court, you find out that listed for the day is about 45, 50 cases. And so if you have special courts to deal with the menace of corruption, but this special courts I'm advocating for is with a caveat. One, in that special court, special rules of procedure must go with it to ensure that one, trial goes on day by day. And this is very important, including judges sitting on Saturdays. Because like my senior colleague mentioned, it's certainly unacceptable for any corruption-related case to proceed for 10 years. My view is that no corruption case should exceed a period of 6 months to determine. And it is achievable. It is achievable. So trial day by day, and if our colleagues are found to be engaged in frivolous applications, they should be sanctioned.
Yeah. Now, in closing, Mr. Izezobo, Olaoluwa at Ola Cashmore says, the solution is quite simple. Amendments to our constitution, and anyone found guilty for corruption act should be sentenced to death. Do you agree with that?
Oh dear.
That's capital punishment.
A bit drastic.
I think that would be too high-handed. That would be too high-handed. Now, let me go back to what I think we should really consider. How do I put it? It's like I said earlier, a state of mind matters a lot. Now, let's narrow it down to the judiciary, lawyers, judges. There's a place, there's a tradition we are coming from. And that tradition, when we were in the law school, as we were told, was that we were not expected to be rich or wealthy. We're only supposed to be, a lawyer, a judge is supposed to be comfortable.
Okay, so your recipe will be...
No, wait.
We need to wind down.
We need to move it on fast.
All right.
Yes.
If what we are seeing today, lawyers, well, maybe judges, acquiring, we have become so acquisitive that we don't even bother about morals again. We don't bother about values again. All we are thinking about is money, 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 and all that. Then we have missed the mark. We have lost focus, and that is why we are talking corruption in the judiciary.
Okay. So in closing now,
if we were
the
to
way
have
forward.
if we were to have stuck to our tradition, we would have been able to move forward.
Okay, maybe that's what Olaolu is saying, that if there are...
Not killing.
If of course, not killing. If there are laws that would help that mind...
We
to be sure
circumvent
that-
laws in this country.
Okay.
Our mainstay in this country is how to circumvent laws.
So
In
In the National
I missed
Assembly,
that
for
with
example,
Malaki, the way forward. We have to close now.
Okay. Now,
In one sentence, please. Thank you.
wow. I think that the point is clearly made. It is work in progress. We've not succeeded in getting to the Eldorado. But if you even talk about delay in justice system, you find that with respect to election matters, you cannot exceed maximum of 5 months. Because by the provisions of the Electoral Act, for instance, you don't have more than 180 days at the trial tribunal. If you're going to appeal to Court of Appeal, it's not more than 60 days, even at the Supreme Court. These are, responses to the challenges we have had in the past. The administration of criminal justice system, too, makes provision for most of the things we are discussing here. In which case, trials with respect to criminal offenses, including corruption, are expected to go on a daily basis amongst other reforms in the law.
Mr. Shitu.
Yes, attitude. Attitude must change. Attitude is everything. Consequences and certainty of punishment for corruption. Again, we must strengthen the rule of law mechanism to ensure that corruption no longer thrives.
Mr. Isezeobo.
Attitude did not change, as he has said. And then let us all collectively denounce and reject what is wrong. If Mr. Shitu, my learned friend, steals you and I should also is my learned friend. No, you have stolen, you are not fit to be here and all that. We should, we should start from things like that.
Ostracize him.
Yes, tell him that what he has done is wrong.
Even if Mr. Shitu will not steal.
I know he won't steal.
Yeah, we had some reactions from home, and this reaction is from Emmanuel, who wrote in from Lagos that the judiciary has actively supported corruption in this country is stating the obvious. Recall that a court in Nigeria cleared Ibori of any corruption charges, and the same Ibori was convicted on the same charges by a saner judicial system in the UK. The judiciary has a lot of internal cleansing to do.
And
So we should outsource corruption cases now.
Ikpamosa says that this goes to the question of redefining the value of the Nigerian system.
Kunle Lawal, I am sure the judiciary is aware of the damages they are causing the country. A clear-cut case will take years to resolve, and the accused will still be in the country causing damages. The judiciary should just wake up and do something.
And finally, Yomi Akinshola says, the judiciary has a lot to do with the fight against corruption. They are not focused.
That's where we have to leave it today. I'd just like to thank our 3 legal practitioners, Malaki Ogumadu, who is also National President of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, Mr. Johnson Esezobo, and Mr. Wahab Shitu. Thank you all very much for coming.
Thank you for being here.
Sunrise will return in just a moment with yet another interesting conversation. Make sure you're part of it.